in this lesson we're going to look at rule 5 of indices. Now this rule is here. When you have something to a negative power, how do we deal with that? Well, the easy thing to do is to change it into a positive power, and you do that by setting a 1 on the top. So you can see here that a to the power negative m is equal to 1 over a to the power of m. I'm going to show you why that works in a second, but that would be something like, say we're trying to do 3 to the power negative 2, then the easiest way to work that out is to say, well, that's 1 over 3 to the power 2. So then you can work out 3 squared and so on. Right, why? Why is that doing that? Okay, well, the easiest way is to look at this idea here. Now if we look at 1 over c cubed, let's try and rearrange it and see if we can get that to c to the power negative 3. So kind of going backwards, kind of going from here back to here. Now from rule 4 we know that c to the power 0 is equal to 1 in all cases. Anything to the power 0 is always equal to 1. So when we've got the 1 in the top here, we can replace the 1 with c to the power 0, so that would look like that. Now we also know that when you divide indices you subtract them. So if we're trying to work this out, then we do 0 take away 3. So that gives you c to the power negative 3. So that's why you can write this like this, or you can go from here back to here. Okay, so let's look at some examples in terms of numbers. So 3 to the power negative 2. Initially we would think, how on earth do you do that? Well, you write it with a 1 on the top and you change it to a positive power. And then we know that 3 squared is 9, so that becomes 1 over 9. Same idea down here. If you're trying to do 5 to the power negative 3, put a 1 on the top and change it to a positive power. And then 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So that's 1 over 125. Okay, let's have a look at some more examples. So examples of rule 5. Rewrite each of these expressions with a positive power. So x to the power negative 2. Again, you can think of it like this. I don't mind if you just go straight to the answer. 1 over x squared. I don't mind if you jump straight from here to here. This is the idea. It's really x to the power 0 over x squared. Take them away. That's where that comes from. X to the power 0 is just a 1, so the 1 goes in the top. Okay, same principles here. That's like 4 to the power 0 over 4 cubed. Now 4 to the power 0 is just 1. And you can work out 4 cubed. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So there we are, 1 over 64. Again, I don't mind if you go directly from here to here. That would be okay. Okay, this last one here in the top, x to the power negative 3 squared. Well, when you have this kind of situation going on, this is rule 3 of indices, you multiply, so you get x to the power negative 6. Now you want to change it to a positive power, so just put a 1 on top and x to the power 6. Okay, let's look at this. So we've got 1 over x to the power negative 2. Now we know that 1 is the same as x to the power 0. And if you subtract these, you get x to the power 0 and take away negative 2. So that becomes plus, so you just get x squared. Same idea over here. We've got 4 over x to the power negative 3. Now we know that 4 on the top is the same as 4 times 1. And 4 times 1 can be written like that, 4x to the power 0. So we've got 4 over 1, and we've got 0 take away negative 3. So that becomes plus 3 and a 4 at the front. If you like this way better, think of it as a 4 at the side and then the indices separately. So that becomes your x to the power 3, and that's why you're multiplying by 4. Okay, last one here. Again, what you need to do is you need to think of 6 as 6 times 1. And the 6 times the 1 can be written as 6 times x to the power 0. And then you do your 6 divided by your 3, and that gives you your 2 here. And 0 take away negative 1 is 0 plus 1. So that's just 2x to the power 1, just written as 2x. Okay, some harder examples again. We've got a few to go through here, and that will be the end of the lesson. So it says simplify, give your answers with positive indices. Now, the first thing we want to do here is sort out the inside of the bracket first. So if we look at that, that looks quite confusing because you get 1 over x to the power of 5 and we're having to do this. We'll change that into a negative power, so you're getting rid of the fraction if you like. So that will be x to the power of negative 5 to the power of negative 3. At that point you times these two from row 3, so negative 5 times negative 3 is 15, so it's x to the power of 15. In all of these examples, what we're going to do is we're going to do the inside of the bracket first, kind of like from BODMAS. Do the bracket bit first to get rid of the fraction. Okay, so we've got a division here, so you subtract indices, so that will be 4 take away 6, which is negative 2. And then put it to the power of negative 4, and then you times these two things here, so that's going to give you 8. Okay, last one here. Again, do the inside, so we've got x to the power of 5 divided by x squared, so subtract, you're going to get x cubed to the power of negative 5. Same as before, you times these two, so that's going to be negative 15. We have to be careful because it says answer with positive powers or positive indices, so put a 1 on the top. Okay, 3 to go. So let's look at this example here. So we've got 8 divided by 4 and n cubed divided by n to the power 7. So 8 over 4 can be written like that, and n cubed over n7 can be written like that. You can think of it this way if you find this easier. Now 8 over 4 is 2, and 3 take away 7 is negative 4. So it's kind of like 2n to the power of negative 4. Now, to sort this bit out, a lot of people get this wrong. They tend to write this. So they put 1 on the top, and they take the 2 underneath, and the n and the 4. This is wrong. I'll show you why. So the 2 is really 2 lots of n to the power of negative 4, so that's really 2 over 1. And n to the power of negative 4 can be written as 1 over n to the power of 4. So the 2 really stays in the top, and the n to the power of 4 goes to the bottom. Okay? So, if you've got a number in the front, then what you do is it goes to the top because it's written over 1. If you had a fraction at the front, like that, a half, then the 2 would go to the bottom. Okay, so let's look at this example here. Now, when you're faced with brackets, what you do is you just multiply the brackets out as normal. So that times that, and that times that. So when you're multiplying indices, you add them. So 2 add negative 3 is negative 1, and 2 add 4 is 6. Now finish it off with a positive power, put a 1 on the top and x on the bottom. Oh, I'll just change that a wee bit, that looks a bit messy. Okay, so 1 over x plus x to the power 6. These are different things, we can't add them together. It's like adding x cubed and x squared, you can't do it. Okay, last one here. We've got 3 x to the power negative 2 times 2x to the power 4 cubed. As before, do the brackets first, so do the inside bit first. So 3 times 2 is 6, and when you multiply indices, you add them, so negative 2 plus 4 is 2, so you're going to have 6x squared cubed. Now, when you're doing this, the 6 is affected by the cube, and the x squared is also affected by the cube. So 6 cubed, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216, and x squared cubed is x to the power 6.